ya!
Frontier. Take on your biggest challenge yet in Pokémon Emerald, only for Game Boy Advance. Rated for everyone.
Hey, it's me, Zilik. I've been thinking about the good old GameCube lately. It had some nice games. But if you were someone in the early 2000s, what if you want to play a Nintendo game on the go? Well, the Game Boy Advance is here. I love the Game Boy Advance. Guess how many games I played on it? Yeah, I had the great pleasure of embarking my first Pokemon journey with the Fire Red and Leaf Green games. However, today I would like to shift our focus to the trio of Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. As a tiny stinker, I was fortunate enough to have the Sapphire version, if you want to know. So, Ruby and Sapphire. Let me tell you all about the technical side of the development of Ruby and Sapphire. Thanks to the advancements from Game Boy Color to Game Boy Advance, the development process was made a bit unlimited. You see, the Game Boy Advance brought along some cool features like vibrant colors, a wider screen, and additional sound channels. These new additions gave the developers a lot more room to play around and get creative. Now let's dive into the challenges that the Pokemon franchise faced during the creation of Ruby and Sapphire. It all started after the release of Gold and Silver, which were a massive hit worldwide. However, after that success, composer and director Junichi Masuda recalls Game Freak developers saying things like, "The Pokemon fad is over, it's dead." Can you imagine the pressure this put on the team? It was a really stressful project for them. But you know what? Despite all the doubts, the team persevered. They poured their hearts and souls into making Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire a reality. And boy, did they succeed. These games turned out to be fantastic, capturing the hearts of fans all over the world. Though the game has met with some criticism, you couldn't trade your older Pokemon from Red and Blue or Gold and Silver to Ruby and Sapphire, which I can understand. My personal experience with Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald, as I mentioned earlier, I had a copy of Sapphire. Though the sands of time may have dulled some of my memories, I can assure you that I have an absolute blast immersing myself in the game. Oh, the adventures I had with all my trusty Pokemon companions and all the marvelous things I discovered. Oh yeah, I played Fire Red first. I found myself equally captivated by the wonders of Sapphire. It truly holds a special place in my heart. And I can't simply think my single-digit self without this game. New features time. We got double battles, Pokemon abilities, Pokemon contests, and 135 new Pokemon. Thanks to the Game Boy Advance's upgraded capabilities, you can now connect to not just 2, but 4 players at the same time. The region is the Hoenn region. I love this region, based on Kyushu in Japan. But wait, there's more. In Ruby, we've got Team Magma trying to awaken the legendary Ground-type Pokemon Groudon. On the other hand, in Sapphire, it's Team Aqua who's up to no good, trying to wake up the legendary Water-type Pokemon Kyogre. They did it. They made it double. I enjoyed the dual villain action overall. Let's not forget about the new berries. You don't want to miss out on these tasty treats in your playthrough. Emerald has a battle tower. I find that pretty nice. Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire are bringing the heat with their awesome new features, epic battles, and legendary Pokemon. So about those new Pokemon, huh? More Pokemon than Generation 2. My favorites include Swampert, Metagross, Gardevoir, Milotic, and on. Box legendaries include Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza. All 3 have yellow eyes. I like Kyogre a little more than the others, but maybe it's because I played Sapphire. As a kid, I thought Salamence was awesome, but with the newer Dragon types out that I like a lot more, it's still pretty fun in my eyes. But Goodra is the best one, for me at least. So many Pokemon I love here: Delcatty, Aggron, Banette, Altaria, Primarina Light, the list goes on. Roselia was a first stage here and gets the other evolutions next generation. Interesting. I love Gardevoir like many others. This Pokemon line is great. Routes and Cruella are just too cute. But here's the thing, routes is pretty rare. So if you're in Route 102, get ready to embrace the grass. And don't get me started on the other legendaries. Latias, Latios, they're precious. The Oxus is very cool, and the mythical Jirachi is cute. There's still more. We got the Reggie trio. Yeah, these guys. Giroc, Regice. Yes, I say Regice, not Regice. And Registeel. Registeel looks like a Wally character. Let's keep the tradition of talking about starters, shall we? Trico. I like Trico. It's pretty neat as a grass starter. I like lizards, like Gex, and it's a fine choice. Torchic. The three of the Hoenn starters are equally enjoyed, funnily enough. Torchic is very cute. I like chickens as well, so of course might struggle with the first gym, but we'll get to that later. Mudkip. I love Mudkip. This mud puppy or axolotl is absolutely great. One of the best things in all of gaming. But seriously, Mudkip is great. Good for gyms and looks adorable. Look at him go. The most iconic of the Gen 3 Pokemon by far. Alright, second evolution time. Grovyle. Mostly popular because of the Mystery Dungeon games. Yeah, I can see why. It's pretty cool in those games as well. Good second evolution in Gen 3 also. Combuskin is pretty cool. It's a solid pick in the game. If you level up your Torchic enough, it can easily take down the first gym. Plus the game's fighting type, which is a trend you'll see more of the future. This funny chicken is pretty cool though. Marshtomp is absolutely awesome. It's got this hilarious look. Just look at me, so funny. When it comes to the Ruby and Sapphire games, Marshtomp is a total gym sweeping champ. Especially if you got the Ruby version. Now I know some folks aren't too keen on its 3D model in the later games, but personally, I just think it adds to the goofiness of Marshtomp. The design is so funny I can't help but love it. And last but not least, the third evolution. Sceptile. Cool lizard. It looks like a Christmas tree and it's good in the games. Maybe more in Sapphire, but still. It's the only final evolution in this game to not have a second type, but it's still really good. Blaziken. It's very cool and it's an awesome fighting type. Plus it's a funny looking rooster. Fun fact, originally it was supposed to look like Latios or Latias. Pretty neat. Swampert. My favorite one of the three. I chose this one back then and yes, it's great. Its design's cool. It's like a swamp monster. Water and ground is an amazing type and it's a very cool Pokemon. This one is hands down my absolute favorite. I love the Pokemon here, Illumise and Volby are alright, I guess, but there's just something about them that I love as well. It seems like most people agree with how good the Pokemon are here. But let me tell you, the reason why I'm so obsessed with these Pokemon is because they strike a perfect balance between cool and cute. Seriously, they got it all. I'm totally hooked on the Gen 3 Pokemon so far. That's the specialty of Pokemon design. They've got that special something that makes me smile whenever I get a new one for my team in any game. I'll go ahead and talk about the story for Ruby and Sapphire. Though I want to play Emerald since I already played with Sapphire and Emerald is the official complete version. So let's start our Emerald journey. the back of a truck because apparently child safety is just too complicated. A classic moment in Pokemon history. We've arrived in this little town called Littleroot. It's quaint, it's cozy, and it's our new home. We stroll right into a house, and what do we find? A GameCube. Love when Pokemon games throw in some console references. It's like a little nod to home consoles in Nintendo's history. Like if you go to your bathroom and you find a Wii. Now, let's talk about our neighbor, Brandon. What's this guy up to? I decide to step outside and head over to Route 101. And there's this girl who claims she heard something. And guess who it is? It's none other than Professor Birch himself, being chased by a Zigzagoon. The guy dropped his bag, and what do you know, it's filled with Pokeballs. Talk about lucky find. Now I get to choose my very first Pokemon. And you know what I pick? I obviously Mudkip. The start of my Pokemon journey begins all thanks to Professor Birch and his Zigzagoon encounter. Time to head back to Birch's lab, and he lets me nickname the Mudkip, naming Mudkip Moods and off to more adventure. We have reached Oldale Town, an amazing song for a second town theme. Our rival Brandon is right there. Wonder what he's doing. Thinking about battling, of course. Next up, Petalburg City, but I want to get the Pokemon I talked about earlier. Routes, also known as Zell. In Petalburg, guess who's waiting there? Dad, at a gym no less. He's thrilled to see how I followed his footsteps and became a trainer. A sickly boy named Wally shows up at the gym. He's got a big dream of catching a Pokemon, and he needs some help. That's where I come in. My normal dad lends Wally a Pokeball, and then asks me to tag along and assist him on his quest. If he's really my dad, then why is he not a fox like me? He gets a Rouse first try. Lucky. Well, at least I have my own here. Cruising through Route 104 and Petalburg Woods. It can't be a Pokemon game without early game forest. Out of nowhere, Team Aqua. Anyway, after a gold battle, one of those grunts spills the beans, and turns out their team is after something in Roosboro City. So I am at Roosboro Gym, battling Roxanne and earning the Stone Badge. Moods evolved too. After gaining my first badge, a Devon researcher, the same one, shows up and spills the beans. Turns out he's been robbed by those troublemakers from Team Aqua. Now it's time for me to be the hero and get those stolen Devon goods back from those guys. But wait, there's more. As you make your way through Route 116, you stumble upon an old man named Briny, and guess what? He's got a bone to pick with Team Aqua as well. They've taken his precious Wingull, Pico, and disappeared into the rust-served tunnel. It's time to put my detective hat on and go after them. Inside the tunnel, I come face to face with Team Aqua grunt. But fear not, because I'm not just any ordinary trainer. I'm a fox. So I defeat the grunt, retrieve the stolen goods, and save Pico from its captors. A little known fact is you can cut grass with the HM cut. Oh, and I have a Nenkata named Kroger. After returning the Devon goods, the researcher is all like, "Hey, can you deliver these to the shipyard in Slateport City?" And I'm like, "Sure, why not?" And guess who I meet? Mr. Stone, the president of the Devon Corporation. He would like me to give a letter to his son, since I guess he is just too sophisticated to do himself, so screw it, let's become a delivery person, and he gives me a Pokénav. Sweet. Anyway, I leave the building and bump into Brandon, who tells me that Mr. Briny used to be a sailor. He wants to battle too. I wonder how this will go. Do you guys like pinball? Pokemon Pinball, Ruby and Sapphire. 2003 must be very boring without this game. I used to play this one mostly because it's satisfying seeing the ball go meow. Developed by Jupiter Corporation, and it shows. This is a simple pinball experience. I don't know what I'm doing, I forgot. We should head back to Emerald. Looks like my powerful pinball revives my Pokemon, along with me tending to level up my Pokemon a lot, so they're much stronger now. So I make my way back through Pelberg Woods to Mr. Briny's house. He's a cool dude and offers me a ride to Route 105 in Dewford Town. Nice. Wow, look at this cool view. Wait, I'm getting a call. Stop the boat. Oh, it's just that. Just north of Dewford, on Route 106, there's this place called Granite Cave. We Flash to get deeper in there, so watch this. I'm gonna beat the gym without Flash. At the entrance, I snag the HM Flash, but apparently I need the Dewford Gym badge for it to work. No worries though, I earned a Knuckle badge from Brawly and I'm good to go. And guess who's there? Steven. He's exploring the cave and having a grand old time. I also caught an Aaron. I wonder if my Pokemon are getting along. So, after leaving Dewford Town, Mr. Briny takes me on a little sea adventure just south of Slateport City. When we arrive in Slateport, there's a huge crowd of Team Aqua grunts blocking the entrance to the Oceanic Museum, as usual. I drop off the Devon goods at Stern's shipyard, and turns out Captain Stern is chilling at the Oceanic Museum. So I head over there, but come across two more Team Aqua grunts waiting for me. Nothing like storming a museum. And out of nowhere, Team Aqua's leader, Archie, shows up. He starts talking about his plans and warns me not to get in their way again. But Archman, I'm just trying to Pokemon. Let's try the battle tent. After heading over to Devon Goods to Captain Sterd, I make way to Route 110, or 1110. Let me tell you, battling Brenton here is pretty notorious. It's like hitting a brick wall at times. And finally, I reach Mauville City. Mauville is quite different from its newer counterpart. The game corner and bike shop are located in Mauville. Outside the gym, I run into Wally and his uncle. He challenges me to prove himself, but let's just say it didn't go so well for him. Bless his heart for trying though. Oh, and I need to check out Verdanturf Town sometime. Once I earned a Dynamo badge from Watson, I head over to the Verdi place. This is my favorite town in the game. It looks so green and peaceful. The music as well. Verdanturf really is Wally's liver. Back in Mauville, I make my way through Route 111 and Route 112 to the Fiery Path. I continue through Route 113 and its brown ashy glory. You can find Lynette here, this gen's PC creator. Finally reaching Fallarbor Town. I gotta say, Fallarbor Town gives me fall vibes, even though it's near a volcano. Anyway, I decided to take a tiny little long stroll down Route 114, and what do I find? Meteor Falls. But hold on, things get interesting real quick. Turns out Team Magma had gone and stolen a meteorite from Professor Cosmo. Team Aqua shows up with their leader Archie. Seems like Team Magma and Team Aqua have a large rivalry. We have to go on top of the volcano now to stop Team Magma. I managed to take down Team Magma admin Tabitha. He looks more like a cooler grunt than an admin in this game. Maxie, the big boss of Team Magma, is using a stolen meteorite and some weird contraption. Naturally, it's time to battle. With Maxie defeated, he left a meteorite behind. I go to Jagged Path. It's mostly memorable for not being called a route. Anyway, I finally made it out of Mount Chipney and arrived in Lava Ridge Town. And the gym leader is Flannery. I like her, she's adorable. An old lady gave me an egg, wonder what will hatch on it. I also caught a Numel and named it Doc Mitchum. She gave me the heat badge after her rhetorical flirts of moods. And then I bumped into Brandon. He gave me some go goggles. That means I can go to the funny desert place. And also suggested that we both challenge my dad at Peterburg Gym. Amazing gym gimmick, by the way. All about stat advantages and strategy. Vigoroth, Slacking, Spinda, and Linun. A strong normal type team indeed. I'm gonna go mess around in Route 111. Probably one of the most interesting routes, and it's where the Mirage Tower is located. You might get some fossil Pokemon there. Seems like I have to do something in New Mobville. As a kid I thought it was going to be a cool secret city, but it's actually quite the opposite. It was planned to be a city in the game's story, but now it's just a power plant. Got Voltorb and named it something funny as usual. Moods evolved too. Just look at him. Honestly, the music feels a bit unfitting. This is a power plant, not a funeral. Alright, done with New Mauville. Hey look, why not? Sure. Now I have access to Route 119. Here's the current team for today. And I stumble upon the Weather Institute, surrounded by those Team Aqua guys. They're on the hunt for some quote-unquote fancy weather Pokemon that the Institute cooked up. After taking down those grunts, I go head to Team Aqua admin Shelly. To me, her design is much more memorable in the remix. I also got a cast form. Not that useful, but free clouds are free clouds. Right after I leave the Weather Institute, Brandon shows up out of nowhere, challenges me to a battle. But of course I'm just so cool that he hands me the HM Fly just for me. I finally make it to Four Tree City, an absolutely fascinating idea for a city. I am ready to challenge the gym and show off my skills. Oh wait, I can't. There's some invisible thingy blocking the entrance. Reluctantly, moving to Route 120, I bump into Steven again, and he hands me this nifty thing called the Devon Scope. He uses it to find a Kecleon as an example. It is a bit weird that I have to leave the city to figure out what to do next, but hey, it's mostly because I really like Fortree. Now to the gym. My team is great for this. Zell and Cube can just work together with electric type attacks. Well, speaking of, Gardevoir, a powerful psychic type Pokemon, also Fairy post Gen 6. As I mentioned previously, Gardevoir is a Pokemon that I love a ton. However, there exists a divide among opinions in the fandom. Some expressing the view that Game Freak shouldn't create Pokemon with humanoid features due to internet moments. In my perspective, this contention seems more like a debate within the more extreme parts of the fan community rather than a fault of the development team at Game Freak or other official sources. Pokemon, by their nature, are creatures embodying a diverse range of designs. They're not bound by any specific appearance criteria. They can be as diverse as the imagination allows. I believe it's important to appreciate the creative freedom in designing these creatures and characters. Back to birds. After I kicked one of those wings and obtained the feather badge, I also got a Swablu named Makeup and I evolved it into Altaria. The journey continues Route 120 again and onto 121. I want to check Mount Pyre first. A cemetery. How spooky. Sure, evolved. Now a Wobbuffet. And hey, another trainer with another Wobbuffet. Let's challenge him. I think we're stuck. Being a Pokemon trainer can be exhausting sometimes, in a way. It's like a never-ending roller coaster ride of battles and challenges. But I just can't seem to quit. There's something about this whole thing that I absolutely adore. It's like a rush of dreams and ideals, a thrill that keeps me going, ever since I was a tiny stinker. Now, I could have easily thrown in the towel and called it a day. But I don't want to. I love Pokemon too much to do or even think that way. And I won't have it any other way. Because at the end of the day, when I finally show the world my passion, the feeling of accomplishment will be worth every single step. So yeah, I may be stuck. But I'm not giving up. Not now, not ever. Wow, what happened? I phased out and won the battle. I also caught some Pokemon I really like. At the top of a mountain, Guess what I find? None other than the big boss himself, Archie. He's got the red orb already, it seems. Then his whole crew takes off for Slateport City. Team Magma was here too. They snagged the blue orb. And when I finally arrive in Lily Cove, it's infested with even more of the ankle grunts. Can't catch your break, can I? Right outside the Lily Cove department store, I have one last showdown with Brandon. I totally crushed him. He's all defeated and announces that he's heading back to Littleroot Town. I may have crushed him a little too hard. Sorry about that. Now, if you weren't paying attention, this party game might be a little confusing. But fear not. I already did Vampire, so let's start with Jagged Pass. So I'm back at the Jagged Pass. If you're not sure where the Magma hideout is, don't sweat it because it's right here. And guess what? The Magma emblem is the key to unlocking the entrance to the Magma hideout. I have a lot of resources, so I'll be okay. My Pokemon have seriously leveled up, so taking on Magma Admin Tabitha is a piece of cake. I keep exploring and find Maxie, another big boss, trying to wake up Groudon with the blue orb.
I'm going to fly for you.
Groudon wakes up and neums out the cave. Maxie spots me and challenges me into a battle. But let's just say he didn't stand a chance. After I wipe the floor with him, he scurries off to chase after Groudon. Alright, let's head up to Slateport next. Apparently, Captain Stern has stumbled upon some fancy undersea cavern on Route 128. Their secret hideout is in Lily Cove City. Thanks for the tip, Archie. So I make my way into the hideout above Lily Cove and I run into this guy named Matt. He tries to keep me occupied while Archie makes his grand escape into the submarine. Here's the current team: Mood Swampert, Make Altaria, Songlarian, Doc Mitchell, Camerupt, Zell Gardevoir, and lastly, sure, Wobbuffet. Here is Route 124, and make my way to Moss Deep City. I gotta take on Team Liza on a double battle in Moss Deep Gym. A little claustrophobic, but it's a neat gym. Snag that sweet Mind Badge. Team Magma is causing trouble at the Moss Deep Space Center, trying to steal some rocket fuel to make Mount Chipney explode. Luckily, I team up with Steven himself to take down Magma leader Maxie and his admin Tabitha. After that epic battle, Team Magma retreats like the cowards they are. Steven, being the cool dude he is, invites me over to his place and hooks me up with the HM dive. I love this HM. Now, we are in the water zone. The 2000s sure do love water. So, here in Route 128, I use dive and hey look, seafloor cavern. There is a unique looking submarine we should dive up later. First, I want to surf all the way to Pacific Town. I want to get this on the map in order to do something cool later. Alright, back underwater. Now at the seafloor cavern, where Team Aqua is hiding out. There are some funny looking currents here. And now for a iconically hard strength puzzle. Dang, let's see. There we go. Anyway, I'm making my way to the deepest part of the cavern and have a face-off with Archie himself. Being the loser, he still pulls out the red orb and wakes up Kyogre, which disappears just like Groudon a while back. And then Maxie shows up and Archie realizes he cannot control the beast, creating a hot and wet mess. We all head back up to the surface and the weather in Hoenn is going crazy. Alright, next up, Zootopolis City. Looks like both teams finally understand they messed up. In the middle of the city, Groudon and Kyogre are having a massive showdown. Steven is here, and takes me to the Cave of Origin. Where we meet Wallace, the former gym leader. Wallace doesn't seem to remember where to find the third legendary Pokemon, so I casually reminded him that it's Rayquaza at Sky Pillar. Apparently, Rayquaza can put an end to Groudon and Kyogre's little brawl. Without wasting a second, Wallace rushes off to Sky Pillar. Remember Pacific Town? Yeah, that's right. I used the town as a shortcut. There it is, Sky Pillar, the big cool place. I meet up with Wallace, who's like the keymaster or something, and he unlocks the entrance for me. He will like me to go meet Rayquaza at the top of the tower, while he goes and checks on Zootopolis City. Time to meet the box legendary himself. I make my way to the top and there's Rayquaza, just chilling there. I go up to it and have a little chat. Time to save Hoenn. Talk about power move. Maxie and Archie here finally realize they messed up. Big time. They go and return the stolen orbs, trying to make things right. Good for them. Wallace gives me HM07, Waterfall, the last HM. He then lets me into the Sootopolis gym to challenge the new leader. Ooh, I love these puzzles as a kid. Very satisfying. The new gym leader is none other than Juan. I think he fit perfectly in the Paldia region. Don't know why he's not there. His name is Spanish, it'll be a perfect fit. There you go. Got all the badges. Wow. But hold up. The story doesn't end there. Brace yourself for a cool surprise. I'm about to go and get Rayquaza. Can't wait to see what kind of awesomeness awaits me. Sky Pillar has some new changes. Now much more harder to traverse. But don't worry, all it takes is a Mach Bike and timing. I've done it, my friends. I've collected all the 8 badges and even managed to get a Rayquaza along the way. Totally optional, but trust me, it adds a hilarious twist in my team. Now, it's time to take on the Victory Road and the Elite Four at Evergrande City. Let's get this show on the road. There it is, Evergrande City. Not much of a city, there's just one Pokemon Center and flowers. Maybe it's a city for flowers. Victory Road. I can smell the finale. And I've met with my good buddy Wally, wanting to take on one last battle. Wally may have been defeated, but he doesn't seem to give up. That's why I love him. He doesn't give up even with his shyness and condition. Thank you, Wally. Alright, Elite Four time. Let's go now. First up is Sydney, the Dark-type Elite Four member. Gotta say, this guy was a piece of cake for me. Maybe I over-leveled a bit, but hey, it's a habit of mine. Next in line is Phoebe, the Ghost-type Elite Four member. She's very cute, but don't let her looks fool you. She's a little tougher than Sydney. Luckily, I got my secret weapon. Now, things start to get a little frosty with Glacia, the Ice-type Elite Four member. She's a real challenge, especially since Rayquaza is weak against Ice. Time to switch things up and rely on my other trusty Pokemon to get the job done. And finally, we've got Drake, the Dragon-type Elite Four member. He's the last hurdle before we face the champion, which means he's the strongest of the bunch. I'm starting to get the hang of this whole Elite Four thing. It's like a dance, you know? You stumble a bit at first, but then you find your rhythm. After crushing the Elite Four, guess who pops up as the final boss? None other than Wallace himself. Yeah, the funny water guy is now the champion of Hoenn, in Emerald at least. Talk about a twist. I'm not gonna use Rayquaza, trust me. Alright, Wallace is no pushover. I totally forgot how tough he can be, especially since I don't have any grass types on my team. It's real challenging without them, you know. Luckily, I've got a bunch of healing items to keep me going. Oh yeah, sure. And his moves can reflect attack. How's that for a strategy? Funny enough, the Wobbuffet named Sure is gonna be a very good tactical thing for this battle. I learned a thing or two from the Mount Pyre guy. And it's working like a charm. Sure is putting on a show out there, counting Wallace's every move. It really is like a dance. Pokemon. Alright, it is time. We have come so far, Sure. Miracle them! Well, we did it. Thanks for the battle, Wallace. Oh yeah, hey there, Brandon and Professor Birch. You guys are a little late to the party. Already took down Wallace. I totally did it. I became the champion of Hoenn. It just feels amazing.
This room. This is where we keep records of Pokemon that prevailed through harsh battles. It is here that the League champions are honored. Come on, let's record your name as a trainer who triumphed over the Pokemon League and the names of your partners who battled with you.
Once I became champion, a whole bunch of post-game features get unlocked. Like you can now catch either Latios or Latios. It all depends on which color you remember from a TV report. You can also find Groudon Kyogre in Terra Cave and Marine Cave respectively. The Weather Institute knows all about these legendary beasts and can give you some handy tips on how to find them. And also there's Deoxys too. Nice. And let's not forget about the Battle Frontier. It's like the ultimate challenge for trainers. You can test your skills against some seriously tough opponents and earn some sweet rewards. It's like a real test of your Pokemon battling prowess. But hey, I'm not just here to brag about my champion status. I'm here to answer the ultimate question. Who was the champion for Wallace? Well, if you played the other Hoenn games, the answer is none other than Steven. He loves rock, so he's definitely in Meteor Falls of all places. And now, here I am, ready for the ultimate final battle. I've trained my Pokemon to perfection, and it's time to put all that hard work to the test. Looks like we've just knocked out former champion Steven, and shown everyone that we're the ultimate trainer in all of Hoenn in, well, Pokemon Emerald. And out of 10, too much cool. 20% cooler, even. Moods, Zell, Kropker, Song, Dr. Mitchell, Sure, Cube, Mecha, and Quetzal. Thank you for joining my fun journey. Having explored the captivating world of Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, journeying through their gameplay mechanics and experiencing the wonders of Hoenn, it's clear these games hold a special place in the hearts of a lot of people, including me. Seeing these credits roll with the Pokemon I had along the way makes me wish more people could try and bond with their Pokemon more, like I had always done. So, Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. I like these ones. Emerald didn't change far too much, but what it added is pretty enjoyable. These games hold a special place in the hearts of many fans, and I'm happy that I got to talk about them. One common criticism leveled against the third version, Emerald, is its similarity to the other two versions, Ruby and Sapphire. I could see why if you already had one of the other versions. It doesn't add way too much, but Emerald has a strong connection to the other two, of course, as well as being marketed as the one for strong trainers. I think the Battle Tower brought an exciting competitive aspect to the game, offering challenges for skilled trainers seeking stronger battles. The role of Rayquaza in the storyline added intrigue, reshaping the narrative and enhancing the experience for me. Plus, let's not forget about the cool new green outfits worn by the protagonists. For Ruby and Sapphire, it undoubtedly shined brightly to new or returning fans of the series, though like a lot of things, they have a few flaws. The gameplay may feel a bit repetitive toward others who didn't play JRPGs a lot, especially in the beginning, which I think it's a common and reasonable issue some might have with any JRPGs, especially Pokemon. I grew up with turn-based games, so I'm more accustomed to them. Yay me. Moreover, a notorious issue is with the time-sensitive berry mechanic. Around the year of owning the game, time-based features like berry growing would stop working. Additionally, the disappearance of the day-night cycle made for involving certain Pokemon like Umbreon much harder. Despite the flaws, the positives within these games outweigh their shortcomings. Their influence within everyone's hearts remains strong, cherished by countless fans for the world, storyline, and Pokemon designs. These games emerged during a crucial period when the Pokemon craze seemed to be fading off, signifying the apparent conclusion of Pokemania. However, I believe this era remarked not the end of a passing fad, but rather a transition. You know, the 90s, they love making stuff born there a big deal. While many who grew up with the earlier classics like Red Blue or Gold Silver might have moved on, the introduction of the GBA games opened the gates for a new wave of players. A fresh generation, comprised of younger fans and casual gamers, found their initial experience in the Pokemon world through these titles, reigniting the franchise's allure. This resurgence of interest propelled Pokemon back into the cultural spotlight, forever reclaiming its status as a global phenomenon. The success of Ruby and Sapphire played a fairly big role to the franchise's resurgence. The franchise's value soared over $15 billion by the mid-2000s, a testament to its enduring appeal and impact. This resurgence highlights the remarkable and enduring significance of the Pokemon franchise, not only for a multitude of fans worldwide, but also for personal reasons, holding a special place in my own journey. Also, I love the music in these games. This era is recognized for its use of trumpets. The sound font used in these games are pretty good. The music was mostly made by Junichi Masuda and Go Ichinose. Ichinose worked on the Pokemon game soundtrack since the days of Gold and Silver, contributing to many of the series' most iconic tracks. Notably, Masuda composed the champion battle theme in Ruby and Sapphire, a piece that happens to be Ichinose's favorite of the game. It's fascinating how these talented composers have left their mark on the Pokémon musical legacy. Also, the songs on the bonus disc are pretty underrated. You guys should check them out. I love the Slateport City one the most. But wait, there's more. The Pokémon selection in these games are amazing. One issue I had with Gold and Silver were the Pokémon selection, since it always feels like the only Pokémon you encounter are Rattata. RSC has a pretty diverse selection of Pokémon you can choose. In conclusion, Pokémon Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, pretty good. From the vibrant Pokémon to the epic showdown with the legendaries. RSC does a lot of cool stuff. The story, albeit a tiny nonsensical, well, it's Pokémon, I love that it's nonsensical. Just two angry teams wanting to expand the sea or the land. The story is very fun. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Especially my favorite character, Wally. I can relate to him in so many ways. Wally's journey isn't just about catching Pokémon. It's about overcoming the hurdles, gaining confidence, and pursuing his aspirations. Seeing him evolve throughout the game is like a reminder of my own growth and achievements, which we want to reach, no matter the challenges we face. And what a challenge! I spent a lot of time in Hoenn, and it makes me think of the first game I played, the reason why I am here in the first place. I'll be going now. See ya.